Hello and welcome in, friends, to another edition of the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, with the one, the only, the legend himself, making his first appearance in the ring, Everitt O'Neal. What's up, Everitt?
How's it going?
It is good. Everything appears to be everything, and I cannot wait to get my hands not only on the good brother, but also the fellow nerd, Everitt O'Neal. That is right. It is a major crossover event as it is SummerSlam weekend, and perhaps a local kid might be making his return to the ring. It is a wonderful weekend in the wrestling world, and the two nerds have to get their picks in there. If you are listening to this episode, I made my official predictions on the Good Brothers. So make sure you guys go to the Mercado Airwaves Network on YouTube.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. You can hear the good brother Alex Mercado's pick along with my own. This is Everitt's first time making official predictions in this world that we are building. I am defending, reigning, undefeated champion as I beat Alex 3 straight pay-per-views to become the inaugural predictions champion, and I will defend my title again. So, Everitt, are you ready to step into the ring for the first time in this triple threat?
I was born ready.
Oh, we know that. We'll just see if that's enough to get you over the big dog. But before that, the Good Brother had a message for you. If you haven't checked out the Good Brothers, make sure you check out our latest episodes. But here's a little sneak peek. Good Brother, are you ready?
I'm ready, and I want Everitt to listen real close right now. So I'm the rated R superstar of this podcast, and he wants a Daniel Bryan his way into my title match. What was supposed to be a one-on-one, now is a triple threat. So I want him to listen real close because I'm coming for him too when this is over.
There it is. So Everitt, the gauntlet has been put down. Not only do you have to beat the reigning, defended, undisputed champion in Michael Mercado, you got to worry about the slimy little brother of Alex Mercado. So good luck to you. Let's make some predictions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And little brother Alex, he was my favorite Mercado because Alexander is my middle name. And so I had a soft spot for him, but now I got to get you.
Oh, we see who will get got, because as far as I'm concerned, you guys can have all the great moments, all the spots you want, because I'm still going to get the 1, 2, 3. So this is an Everitt O'Neal special. Again, you can hear my predictions on the other end. I really just want to have a conversation with Everitt at the end of this about a potential return to the industry. So E-Train, this is going to be your moment to shine. And for those who don't also know this, we are doing NXT Takeover 36 as a backup. So let's say we end up in a tie. Somehow there is a tie. We need to find a definitive winner because this is SummerSlam weekend, baby. We are making predictions for NXT. Those are up in the air. Some people watch, some people don't, but we need to have a wild card. So that's what we're going to do at the end of this. Everitt, let's get you going. Alexa Bliss takes on Eva Marie. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Eva Marie.
Interesting. Okay. I will let you know that the Good Brother and I both went with Alexa Bliss. So you have an early opportunity to get some points and get a title.
Heel O'Neal, baby.
Here we go.
O'Neal.
Okay. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal in a 3MB reunion. Who do you got?
You know what? I feel like this is an obvious one. And I'm going to go with the Scottish Terminator.
Very good. Both the Good Brother and I went with Drew McIntyre as well. Edge versus Seth Rollins in a dream match between two of the big workhorses of the last 30 years. Who do you got?
This one's going to be difficult because Seth is on a losing streak right now with pay-per-views since his comeback. It's kind of like who needs it more. And I'm going to go with Seth.
Very interesting. I will let you know that is split between the Good Brother and I. I will not tell you who the winner is. You will need to go check out the podcast to see who went with what. But that is an interesting match. If you're 100% correct, that could go either way. This should be an easy one of who we went with. So I want to see what Everitt went in the United States Championship match between Sheamus defending his title against Damian Priest. Who are you going with?
I'm going with Sheamus.
Wow. So, of course, the Boricuas, the Puerto Rican brothers, went with Damian Priest. So we will see another big matchup here before the United States Championship.
Hey, listen, my last name is O'Neal. I got to go with the Irishman.
I see you. We will see if infamy or a bro kick end up being the deciding factor. How about this one? The SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Bloodline, the Usos defend the titles against Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Who do you got?
I think the Usos take it.
I agree. And Good Brother and I both went with that too. Now, here's the real question. Do you think there's a heel turn between Dominic to his father?
I think it's coming. I think it happens.
That's very interesting, right? We'll see. And of course, this is coming off of the time in which we had Dominic Mysterio, who was in that great storyline with Eddie Guerrero and with Rey Mysterio. Dominic on a pole in a ladder match. So it will be fun to see that come full circle at SummerSlam. How about a very go ahead, bro?
Yeah, my only gripe with the possible heel turn is that it would really shore up an already thin SmackDown tag team roster.
That's very true long-term wise, but I wonder if Rey's contract, I said this in the other podcast, that maybe Rey's contract kind of coincides with Dominic being able to kind of go on his own. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe like Rey is just getting him ready to go on his own, to get ready to have his own storylines. And that's maybe where I see the heel turn coming, but it might be slow burn as well. So we'll see if that goes that way. But I think this is a fun one coming up for the Raw Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles and Omos versus Randy Orton and Riddle. RK, bro, who are you going with?
I'll be honest, I really like both, and I'm an Omos mark, but I'm going to go with RK Bro because I think they are probably one of the better things going on the Red brand.
I agree. What do you think about this really fast? I told Good Brother Alex that I believe there's a good chance, or at least I'm very interested in seeing Riddle being the one that turns heel on Randy Orton. I've been a big Riddle fan since he was in Tough Enough, or excuse me, The Ultimate Fighter. So I've always thought the kid was something special to see him kind of come all the way from PWG to this point. And I think that he has a chance to really get one of the big two belts. You don't put him against Randall unless that is something Vince McMahon believes in. So what would you say if it was the Bro Master himself, the Bro Stallion, that turned on the Viper?
I would definitely be surprised by it. Selfishly, I enjoy Randy as a heel, and I think he does too. But it would be a good program to see a face Randy and a heel Riddle, just to see like that streaky side and, the shoot fighter in him really give it to Randy.
That's what it is, right? It's like, he could actually kick someone's ass. So that's always just kind of in the back of your mind. This is a wonderful marquee matchup, a WrestleMania rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Who do you got?
That's a tough one. It's a really tough one. But I'm going to go with Belair.
Yeah, Good Brother and I both went with Belair as well. I think Sasha is kind of doing a part-time thing right now. We got a lot of stuff with Mandalorian and Boba Fett. Yeah. And, what's really going to be interesting, and this will transition to the Raw Women's Championship with Nikki Ash versus Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. A lot of this is determined by, what Becky's going to do. Do you want, I was there at Allstate, and I said this on the podcast when they came to Chicago, right? And I saw the reaction Rhea got, and I saw kind of the reaction that Nikki got. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see where they put Becky, where there's this new shakeup. Because what you got to remember too is Seth Rollins and Becky have all the pull, rightfully so. So if they both want to go to SmackDown or they both want to go to Raw, that impacts what happens in said divisions. Do you want to kind of get away from Nikki? Do you kind of want to get into Rhea? Do you want to go back to Charlotte versus Becky? It's a very interesting division right now. So with that, we went with Bianca. You went with Bianca. But what about on the Raw side between Nikki, Charlotte, and Rhea? Where are you going?
You know what? I'm going to go with Nikki.
Me and you both.
I feel like they built her in a way where it's expected for her to lose.
It's the only way to put the character over, and they put merchandise on her. Now, mind you, we also know WWE can change their mind like that. Vince can wake up and be like, I'm done with it, pal. But for now, I think they're going for it, and I don't know what's going on with Becky. So until then, I think they're going to go with Nikki, and I don't think they want to put Becky versus Rhea because I think they want to make Rhea the next Becky on some kind of level. So I think they don't want to take some of that shine away. So very interesting. Yeah. That's
I definitely think Nikki finally becomes a superhero at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think that's where they're kind of going for. You're 100% correct. I agree with you. Now we get to our co-main events, and we'll start off with the WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg.
Roberto is going to beat the brakes off of Bill.
It better. He better.
He is going to rap, tap, tap that ass.
Here's the
and
thing.
I can't wait.
I told good brother Alex this, and we both went with Bobby, but you can't count out Goldberg. He beat the Fiend. They put the title on him before WrestleMania. Like, there are some dudes that are hard to bet against. Charlotte is one of them. John Cena is one of them. Goldberg's another one. You're like, I can totally see them wanting to get a ratings boost. They want Goldberg versus Brock again, or want Goldberg versus, like 100 different things they can end up wanting to do. I agree with you. It should be Bobby. I'm going with Bobby. But like I said on the other show, don't be surprised if Mr. Goldberg and his what used to be a 13-year-old chubby son who's now 47, they end up walking out with the WWE Championship. But you're going with the almighty Bobby Lashley?
Yes.
Well, that means there's only one match left at SummerSlam. This coming up Saturday night in Las Vegas, home of the Las Vegas Raiders. It will be for the Universal Championship. John Cena looking for title number 17 against the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Who do you got?
This is one of those moments where my head and my heart merge together and allow me to make a sound and grounded decision. And I'm going with the Peacemaker.
Wow.
For the 17th.
Look, I understand. I totally get it. I picked Roman Reigns, and so did Good Brother. Don't count out John Cena. Ric Flair is out of the company. He's doing stuff on trains and at NWA in Mexico. Allegedly. I'm sorry, allegedly. So maybe, I think you might, if that happens, you might have just won the big moment. Good Brother said this. Good Brother Alex Mercado. Check out the Good Brother's latest podcast over on Mercado Airwaves Network on YouTube, and of course, wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. You're on the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast, the one and only Everitt O'Neal. I'm Mike Mercado. We are making our predictions for SummerSlam, for NXT Takeover 36, and of course, maybe a certain return at the United Center for maybe the best in the world. We'll talk about that in just a second. If you're watching, I am at the Mercado Airwaves studios, and Everitt O'Neal is at the actual radio station doing the damn thing. So shout out to Everitt for doing it.
Me while I'm actually working.
He's doing it. We love him for it. So, yeah, I agree with you, and you can't count it out. Good Brother Alex said this, though, on the latest podcast. What if Cena does win, and then all of a sudden you hear static, and you hear in living color. You can
do what you want to do.
Yeah, you start listening to Living Color come out, and a certain guy. What are the chances? What are the chances? What are the chances? We'll get into a deep conversation in just a little bit, but what are the chances? The curveball. John Cena.
I think those chances are as good as finding a needle in a haystack.
Well, there it is. All right, Everitt. We will move on to the tiebreakers. Okay, how much do you watch NXT when it comes to USA?
I watch enough of it.
Okay,
I'm an NXT guy.
My guy. All right,
we'll have to have a discussion about those moves as well, because I'm all in on the no midgets over 30.
Oh, no!
I'm full blown. I'm full-blown heel O'Neal with that one.
Heel O'Neal has gone full of Vince McMahon. All right, let's go into NXT then. A match that was just added, so we will not be predicting it because the Good Brother not get a chance, but just at it, it will be Trey Baxter versus Ridge Holland. So we won't make a prediction, but that is now on the card. All right, you ready?
I'll make a pick.
I mean, you want to make a pick just for fun? Yeah, Ridge Holland. Yes. I think we would all go with Ridge Holland. So, but we won't make it.
I'm a Ridge Holland mark.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most of them are, him and that other, I can't think of it. He just lost to Corey, to Black John Cena, who's super swole, who came out and it's like going against Adam Cole and all these other dudes. Like they're making a prototype 2.0. Carmelo Hayes. He just lost to Carmelo Hayes. Duke, is that his name? The guy who just lost. I think he's going to be one of the main guys. So is Carmelo, and Odyssey Jones is going to be a superstar. So there are some guys, but. All right, Everitt, let's get into it. You make your picks, and these will be the tiebreakers. You ready?
Ready.
Walter versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT United Kingdom Championship.
Dragunov.
Dragunov. We all went with Dragunov as well. Is Walter going to NXT Prime?
Yes.
Very good. Raquel Gonzalez. Go ahead, good bro.
We're getting Joe versus Walter, baby.
Stop it. Don't tease me. I need that for Survivor Series NXT. You heard it here first with the one and only Everitt O'Neal. Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship.
Dakota.
I think we all went with Dakota. I think our big reason was if Raquel wins, then what? Alex thinks that she's going to be called off. I actually think that it's going to be a few months and then she gets called up because they're going to slowly build more baby faces to go against Dakota. But I don't think that she gets called up right away. I think they make this a little bit of a storyline. Because if it's not Dakota, then who?
I mean, I think Dakota wins and Raquel goes to the Blue Brand to be the big bad to Bianca.
Wow. Okay. I mean, her versus Bianca, you're right. That might be the one. We were wondering who was going to be next for Bianca, especially with Bayley being out, depending on how Sasha's schedule is, what they do with Becky. That's a good call. It's a good call. Good call on you. All right, let's go on to another one. LA Knight, yeah, dummy, yeah, versus Cameron Grimes, and Ted DiBiase for the $1 Million Championship. Who you got?
Going with Grimes.
Okay, going with Cameron Grimes. I think we all went with Cameron Grimes. It's interesting that they're putting this, the $1 Million title on the line and they're making it a thing on NXT. So I think that's a lot of fun. Karrion Kross versus Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship. Who do you got? As Everitt is doing the radio thing, you guys can see him right now. We want to know from Everitt O'Neal, the one and only, who is in the radio station right now. Everitt, who do you got? Karrion Kross.
Joe.
Okay, I knew. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's the easiest one, right?
He's going to murder him.
Yeah, all right. So let's get to the one that's also probably the easiest one. Mm-hmm.
And Karrion can finally just be full-blown Raw and get that out the way.
100% agree. And speaking of maybe getting out of the way, maybe getting out of the house, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in a 2 out of 3 falls count or 3 stages of hell. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, the end of the Undisputed Era. Who do you got?
Now, I know in the NXT of old, when people were sent off to either, the main roster, they would lose. Mm-hmm. We don't know what it's going to look like for Adam Cole, because there's so much rumors and innuendo around where he's going to go. But I'm going to go with Bebe for the win.
Wow. We all went with Kyle, and that might be an X factor right there. If Adam Cole goes away with a W, gets called up, and buries Kyle O'Reilly on his way out, well done, Everitt. Well done. Well, those are Everitt's official picks and predictions. His first time for my Undisputed Predictions Championship. The Good Brother is also trying to come again, that slimy brother. We'll see how both of them do. I have a feeling that I'm going to stack them, and it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. But who knows? Wrestling is crazy. Make sure you guys check out their predictions on the latest episode of The Good Brothers, and let us know your predictions down in the comment section below here for the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast with Everitt O'Neal and Mike Mercado. So, Everitt, there's only one subject left. We've made our predictions. Let the best man win. That's me. But not either way. We got to move on to the biggest subject. In our great city, a professional wrestler may or may not, who knows, be making a debut at the United Center at AEW Rampage. Let me ask you, just plain and simple, does CM Punk show up tonight at the United Center at AEW Rampage?
Yes. I think he does.
What
I
happens?
think he shows up for the first dance.
What happens? Tell us what happens, because there's rumors, obviously, that maybe it's Daniel Bryan. Maybe it is just CM Punk, and it's just an announcement of his signing. Can it be Braun Strowman? There are definitely some possibilities. As we get closer and closer to curtain, and we get closer and closer to doors opening, I do believe it is CM Punk. But is there any chance that it's Daniel Bryan, that it's not Punk?
I think that it closes with Punk. With that hour show, I think they're going to pack it with so many surprises. Think kind of like Impact when they did Slammiversary or whatever. I can't remember like their marquee event, but I think we get a lot of surprise names, and I think we close it out with Punk and Darby.
Very good. What do you? I tweeted this out. Would you rather be at the first match or first appearance?
First match.
It's interesting, right? Like, I've been iffy on it. Like, I was there for Money in the Bank 2011, and I actually just posted a picture. You can on the video, you could see me and my buddy who we went. That was my first ever wrestling event. Been watching at that point for 20 years. I was 21, and I've been watching my whole life. First time ever going was CM Punk walking out, blowing a kiss to Vince McMahon. Like, I was talking to one of my brothers about this. He was like, "You're never gonna find that moment again. Like, you could keep going. You could go to Rampage. You could go to All Out, but you're never going to get that moment again." But I think if Punk does show up tonight and he does have a match against Darby Allin, I think for me personally, this is me personally, selfishly, I think that's a great bookend for me to watch his return match as kind of my bookend of watching. My first wrestling was him and his biggest moment in the spotlight, and maybe, this moment right here. So are you excited about Punk and Bryan being in AEW, if it's true?
Well, I mean, we don't necessarily know the truth with Bryan, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that Punk is definitely there. Am I excited? No, I'm not. I get it. The Second City Saint, the best in the world and all of that. But I mean, if I'm being truthful, and this is me being a heel again, I'm kind of with Roman Reigns with what he said. Even if he was, kind of working people, I mean, I never felt strongly about CM Punk like everyone else did. And I mean, like, the pipe bomb moment was incredible. I even enjoyed the Straight Edge Society, but I didn't find myself just. He's not my Brett or Sean or any of that. He's not on my Rushmore, but he was definitely an Impact player for that era of wrestling. And I think you don't see a lot of things transpire without that pipe bomb. So I acknowledge his contribution as a pioneer for wrestling moving forward. But the excitement that I have, I saw him get his ass whooped too many times, in a shoot fight. For me. Yeah.
Shout out to Mikey Gall. I actually interviewed him before that fight, so you guys could check that out deep in the archives. I'm a CM Punk stan. I know that there's a weird connection with him and the community now because of how much trash he talked on his way out. But I also know how important he was to this generation, how important he was to my love of the industry, and me going to shows and me kind of seeking out certain things. And it was a shame the way he kind of left. And it sucks that there's so much bad blood and we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We're just talking strictly what we see. It sucks that he's not tight with Colts, right? Like, those kind of things do suck. It's not fun, and
that'll be interesting too.
Yeah.
To see how that works out,
100%. And Colt's beloved in that company. Colt's beloved in the entire wrestling community. So of course it's a weird dynamic, but here's the most important thing. And I tweeted this out. I put it on social media. I was lucky enough as a wrestling fan in that terms to be at the Allstate Arena in 2011 to see CM Punk win the title. Tonight, a lot of people theoretically get to make a very cool moment. And that's what wrestling is. Wrestling's about really dope moments and times where amazing and things that only happen on that stage occur. And I think for tonight, that might happen for 16, 20,000 people in Chicago, the place where the Stanley Cup was brought home 3 different times by the Chicago Blackhawks, where Michael Jordan won 3 NBA titles, where Brett versus Owen in a steel cage at SummerSlam, where Sting came down from the rafters.
Undertaker versus The Undertaker.
Undertaker versus Fake Taker. SummerSlam. Like, it was wrestling Chicago. We know that we are the unofficial official homes of any wrestling company that wants to be serious, aka AEW and WWE. And on Friday night, the city gets to make another cool moment. And I think that's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, I honestly, And I think you and I have held similar beliefs about AEW off the mic. But truthfully, like, this entire weekend is a win for wrestling fans completely. You know, Friday night SmackDown kind of kicks it all off. I'm a big blue fan. I'm a blue guy. So I enjoy what they're doing. And I think because they probably know what's going to happen
right
at 9
after.
o'clock,
They
are definitely going to bring it for the go home show. You follow that up with what should be a Rampage, and I don't hate AEW.
Sure.
I like the product. It's the fans. It's always the fans. And then, you know, you get SummerSlam on a Saturday night of all nights, and you close out with what should be the new generation of NXT headed your way, because there's no telling what that's going to look like moving forward. And so it's an exciting time for wrestling. I know people are down on the E, you know, and people can talk and speculate, but we're still going to be watching like the cucks we are.
And it's a wonderful time, and like that's the beauty of it. It's like we are so blessed that we get to complain about little stupid things, and at the end of it, it's going to be, honestly, Everitt, it's going to be a weekend of memories. Whether you're there live or you're streaming it live, having reactions, or just watching it on your couch with your buddies, with your family, your siblings, or by yourself. It's going to be a wonderful weekend for wrestling fans. And in the 20 months that we've had, it's the first time it's feeling normal. And I was there Survivor Series weekend when it was here in Chicago. Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, NXT War Games, and Survivor Series. It was great. That was 2019 in November. The world changed really fast a few months after. This feels like we are getting to a really great time. And of course, like we always say, wrestling is life. Life is wrestling. Everitt, I got to let you go. You actually have work to do. Any final thoughts?
I'm live in the studio. Also, like, this is the life out here. We are literally in the mall. Now I know what it feels like to be a polar bear.
For our polar bear, Everitt O'Neal, who is live at the radio station doing the damn thing. As he would say, I'm going to let him go. He's got to go board up a show. The only reason that, you know, I don't bury him right now as he comes after my title is because Justin Fields is our quarterback, and nobody will talk about us any which way. Thank you guys so much.
Like seriously, I'm okay with losing this triple threat prediction because I had such a satisfying last Saturday watching my quarterback do what he does. All right. And so at this point, I can lose. I can get swept. I can get stacked and pinned. All right. People can hate the things that I have to say about CM Punk, but it doesn't matter because Justin Fields is the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, and you all will not, you are not going to steal my sunshine. All right. Shout outs to, I forgot the band that did that one.
It's all right. Shout out to them, though. We know.
But you're also not going to talk to me any kind of way.
We're the one, the only Everitt O'Neal. I'm Mike Mercado. We will see you next time on the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast, The Good Brothers, and Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves Network.